Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
A local mosque is now preparing for Ramadan this Monday. Ramadan is one of the 5 pillars of Islam faith, where they fast from sunrise to sunset as an act of worship and commitment to grow closer to God. Qasid Waraiq, a local imam of the mosque, also shared the practicality of fasting.
We realize, what some people are actually going through. So we're actually fortunate enough. We look at ourselves as being among the fortunate, where when the sun sets, we're able to go back to eating whatever we like. But then there's people across the globe who are unfortunate, where they get nothing to eat. So this actually helps us connect with them.
Waraiq also invites anyone who wants to join them breaking the fast on the evening of the 22nd.
To take the next initiative as well, they can actually take part in the entire fast with us for the entire day. So before sunsets, before sun rises, you can have a meal at home and then join us by staying hungry and thirsty throughout the entire day, and then come join us on the 22nd, and we can break our fast together.
If you're interested in joining or learning more, you can visit their website or contact 306-825-3002. Sprinkle Kindness, Spread Sweetness campaign was hosted by Mother Teresa School over the month of February and are now giving back to the community. Born out of the pandemic, the donut campaign is designed to get students creating donuts that would then be sold at Sobeys. Over the 3 years, Mother Teresa has donated over $15,000 to nonprofits in the community.
The organizations that the money will go to. So they actually hold a community fair here at Mother Teresa, and different organizations that help families and children and animals in the community set up a booth, and they talk to the kids can ask questions, and then from that the kids actually do, again, a democratic vote in their class on which organization their money will go to.
The assembly held at Mother Teresa today showcased their final numbers of the month, as well as some fun games for the nonprofits to take part in.
I find it so valuable to instill kindness in our small school, because our school is only pre-K to grade 2, and so kindness starts right at the roots of their development, and that's us. That's the teachers here in this building that get to start developing that love for kindness and showing kindness and empathy and building all of the gratitude, the compassion that goes with it.
Mother Teresa, bearing any global pandemics, will plan to host the Sprinkle Kindness, Spread Sweetness event again next year. Grocery prices across the country have risen tremendously over the last few years, with regular items reaching price levels usually reserved for specialty items. We had a chance to sit down with the president of the farmers market and asked why. Inflation rates in Canada have been falling, yet grocery prices around the nation have skyrocketed to the point where organic local products are at times cheaper options. Alice Pattison, the president and vendor of the farmers market, shared what she has seen from consumers this season.
We seem to have a few people that come out. It would be nice to see a lot more. We have a lot of vendors here that are wholesome, that with eggs, farm fresh eggs. We have Flint honey. We have meat here. So yeah, and you save on. You're supporting local as well as saving a little bit of money from the grocery store.
Many Canadians have probably noticed a jump in fresh fruit and vegetable prices, which could be directly related to the value of the Canadian dollar. In May of 2021, one Canadian dollar is worth 83 cents USD, while today, that same dollar is worth 73 cents in the States, meaning that everything imported costs roughly 10% more than it was a few years ago. Pattison shared how that is just one of many reasons why more people should consider local products when shopping.
We have, I think, 15 vendors today. We're also open on Saturdays, and these people support the economy here, and then that money gets spent in our community, which helps everybody else, and so it's really good to shop local.
The Border City Farmers Market will be open every Thursday from noon to 5 p.m. and every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Callum Hawker, Primetime Local News. Lloydminster Bobcats held their annual awards night last night to celebrate individual accomplishments from the season. Our Thomas Wildman has more on the awards.
6 goals and 39 points for Martinsville, Saskatchewan, Ryan Redikoff.
The Lloydminster Bobcats Awards is a celebration of many different players on the team. A majority of awards are decided by player vote, and a player who came home with quite a bit of hardware is the captain Caden Cabana, who was unanimously voted the team's MVP.
Yeah, it's very thoughtful of them, but I gotta give it up to them. They made it a lot easier this season, and I gotta give it up to them too. So it's been awesome so far.
One different award of the evening is the Fan Choice Award, which is voted on by fans, and this year's winner was Ben Acoyne.
Yeah, it's nice. You know, we go to schools pretty often, and you just try to connect with the kids. So it's nice to know that they like me, and trying to make an impact for them. So it's good.
The event also marks the celebration of the graduating 20-year-old players who will complete their AJHL careers come season's end. There were only 3 this year: Caden Cabana, Ryan Redikoff, who was recognized as top defenseman, and Blake Setter, who was also recognized as the most dedicated Bobcat.
It's been crazy. You know, I almost came to the Bobcats when I was 16, and then didn't end up coming until I was 20. And it's been a wild year. It's been pretty fun, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And junior's been awesome.
The players weren't the only people thanked, as awards were given out to members of the community that volunteer and help out the organization. A large portion of the crowd included billet families who are so important to the success of a junior hockey team like the Bobcats.
Thanks for the fans and support. I think, you know, a big part too is our billets. We're very fortunate for our billets, which you see again tonight. You know, they house these players over the last 6-7 months and treat them like their own. And I think sometimes they get missed, but very appreciative of all that they do for us and everything they do for our organization.
The Bobcats will start their AJHL playoffs next weekend, and their opponent will be one of the winners from the AJHL play-in round. Thomas Wildman, Primetime, local news.
Abby St. John joins us back in studio for our second look at the weather report.
Thanks so much, Callum. We're currently sitting at -5, feels closer to -10 with that wind chill. The clouds are starting to roll in. We'll see a little bit of cloud coverage overnight tonight, but it won't be too bad. We saw a very nice sunny day out today, so that's always a plus. And it was also the warmest day of the week, I think, so that's also another plus as well, especially for a Friday heading into the weekend. Winds at 13 kilometers per hour. Current temperatures in Alberta: 0 in Cold Lake, 4 in Athabasca, 8 in Whitecourt and Edson, 5 in Edmonton and Jasper, 7 in Rocky Mount House, and 2 out in Red Deer. Now in Saskatchewan, -4 out in Meadow Lake, -10 in North Battleford, and -7 in Prince Albert, Melfort, and Saskatoon. If we head up north in Saskatchewan, -4 in Uranium City and Stony Rapids, -3 in Wollaston Lake and Flin Flon, -2 in South End, and -5 in La Loche and Buffalo Narrows. In Alberta, -5 in Fort Chipewyan, +4 in Fort Mac, +3 in Peace River and Grand Prairie, 7 in Slave Lake, and -3 out in High Level. Down south in Alberta, -7 in Coronation, +7 out in Calgary, 6 in Medicine Hat, 9 in Lethbridge, and 2 out in Banff. In Saskatchewan, -7 in Kindersley and Yorkton, -1 in Swift Current, 0 out in Moose Jaw, -8 in Regina, and -5 in Estevan. Overnight tonight in North Battleford will drop down to -16, partially cloudy skies, and it will feel a little bit on the colder side, 11 kilometer per hour winds. Overnight tonight in Cold Lake, another partially cloudy skies. -13 will be your overnight temperature, and that wind will be relatively calm at only 9 kilometers per hour, so it should be a relatively nice evening out tonight. Overnight temperatures across the region: -14 in Meadow Lake, -13 in Bonnyville, -10 in Provost, and -11 in Isla Crosse and Paradise Hill. A little bit of cloud coverage for the majority of those areas, partially or patchy clouds overnight tonight, and winds are relatively calm, not really going over 13 kilometers per hour, usually staying around, on average, around 9 kilometers per hour. More overnight temperatures across the region: -10 in Myrna, -13 in Pierceland and in Unity, -10 in Wainwright, and -1 out in Calgary. And again, partially cloudy skies as well. A little bit more cloud coverage out in Calgary, but for the most part, mostly clear overnight tonight. And again, wind speeds are not that strong, between 9 and 11 kilometers per hour. Overnight tonight here in Lloydminster will drop down to -10, partially cloudy skies, and we'll have about 15-kilometer-per-hour winds as well. And then over the next 7 days here in the border city, a high of +2 and a low of -1 for tomorrow. Mix of sun and cloud, mostly sunny. And then the wind speeds will pick up in the afternoon. And then on Sunday, the wind will carry over with a high of +4 and a low of -7. Mix of sun and cloud as well. And then on Monday, those clouds will start to clear with a high of +1 and a low of -11. Things get a little bit more cloudier on Tuesday with low clouds with a high of -1 and a low of -6. And then +1 on Wednesday for your daytime high with a low of -7. Again, cloudier conditions. On Thursday, a high of +2 and a low of -3 as well. And then as we go back to Friday next week, it will be windy, but there will be plenty of sun to look forward to with a high of +3 and a low of -8. That's a look at the next 7 days here in the border city. We'll have more news coming up after the break. I'm happy to be joined here today with Rhonda LaFrance. She is the Chief Marketing Officer for MCS Net. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Of course. Now, MCS Net has received a government grant for $16 million of funding for a rural broadband infrastructure. Tell me about that exciting news and what that means for MCS Net and the communities that it impacts.
Yes, it's quite a large project for us here, spanning over 15 different counties and MDs, helping us to provide better broadband for rural residents and small town residents throughout our coverage area, which is pretty much all of northeastern Alberta.
Now, for people who may not know what that actually means, what is broadband infrastructure and why is it important to strengthen it in smaller communities?
So MCS Net is a family-owned company that's been around since 1995. And basically our goal is to provide high-speed internet everywhere. So we know there's a lot of areas across the countryside that are hard to reach with different forms of internet. So we have over 500 fixed wireless towers throughout our service area. And what this grant funding has allowed us to do is to provide transit fiber between these towers. So basically, we're using fiber optic technology, connecting it to a tower, and then we're able to increase our speeds for people near the tower, and then also to launch a new technology that we have in smaller communities called Gig Air. So we have over 60 different communities now that we have gigabit speeds through the air, similar to what you get with a fiber optic connection.
Yes, people don't always realize that in rural communities, you don't always get that high speed internet that you would get in bigger communities or even cities. So this grant money is going to go a very long way. Now, what can people expect once you guys start rolling out your changes using the grant money?
Well, actually, a large majority of the grant money has already been gone towards projects that have been built over the last 2 years. We just weren't allowed to say very much until the government made their final announcement. And we were allowed to build so much of it. And that way we're able to get the fiber optic cables in the ground, connect them to our towers, and then improve our networks so that basically the grant funding is to help bring minimum speeds of 50 megabits per second down and 10 megabits per second up. Not everyone always understands that, but that's basically with those speeds, you should be able to, with multiple users, to stream and game and do all those things in your home on internet. I know I am personally a countryside customer of MCS Net, and I've been able to work from home during the pandemic with multiple users in our household, do all the things that people with, maybe a little bit higher speed are able to do. So this funding is to help meet that minimum standard in different rural areas.
Oh, that's awesome. And I think it's really going to help a lot of families and people who are living in the countryside or rural areas, which is wonderful. Now, you did say that it's already kind of been rolled out for a while now. Have you seen or have you received any feedback from people who are using this faster speed internet?
For sure. I know that our average speeds across our network are now above the minimum standards. And for different communities where we're able to launch our gig air service, people are getting 1,000 megabits up and down up to those speeds. And we've been having a lot of amazing feedback from customers in those communities as well. So we have a great amount of loyal MCS customers, and we really appreciate when they let us know how well we're doing, how we can improve. And yeah, it's just been great to be able to provide that service to rural residents.
And that is, at the end of the day, the most important thing. And it's very exciting that you guys are able to do that over the last couple of years with this grant money. So, is there anything else that you would like to mention that I have may missed?
We're just very thankful that the provincial and federal governments were able to partner and work together and provide the matching funding. So MCSnet has invested half of the $16 million towards these projects, and the government was able to help us out because otherwise we know that to try and reach all of these rural customers, it's a huge investment for everyone. And we know that, there's all different types of technologies that are out there, but we're just trying to provide an option.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Rhonda. And it's amazing that you guys are able to do this, and it's already been a huge success. So, thank you so much. And I wish you the best of luck for the future.
Thank you so much.
Coming up this weekend, you and your family have an opportunity to stroll down memory lane, take a look at different antiques, sports memorabilia, and so much more when you head out to the Border City Collectors Show and Sale. It got underway today. It's going to continue at the Lloyd X tomorrow, and there's so many different items for you to see. There's going to be antiques, sports memorabilia, stamps, farm toys, construction toys, farm collectibles, woodworking, pieces of history from the oil field, dioramas, and so much more. At this show, there are some display tables, but there's also going to be a lot of sale tables as well. And it's always neat to make new discoveries when you head out to the Border City Collectors Show and Sale. Admission, only $5 a person or $15 for the family, and proceeds will support local organizations. Hopefully you can check out the Border City Collectors Show and Sale tomorrow at the Lloyd X. Coming up tomorrow, bring your whole family out to the Civic Center for the Todd Gustafson Memorial Battle of the Badges. This annual fun hockey game sees members of the Lloydminster Fire Department take on members of the Lloydminster RCMP. The Lloydminster Fire Department, they won the game last year. Will it be the RCMP this year? Head out to the game, and when you do, our community wins because admission is by donation. You can make a donation of a non-perishable food item or a monetary donation, and those donations will go to support the Olive Tree, the Salvation Army, and Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Lloydminster. Doors open at noon tomorrow. Puck drop is 12:30. All the details at lloydminster.ca. And coming up on Monday night at the Vic Juba Community Theatre, you have a chance to see the award-winning Irish Descendants. They have won numerous awards, including East Coast Music Awards and a Juno Award as well. Tickets are still available. All the details, you'll find them online at vicjubatheatre.ca. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
I have a very special guest with me today on Primetime Local News. Asad Saeed is joining me today. Asad, thank you so much for speaking with me.
I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
Well, I want to talk today about an endowment that has been set up for your brother who passed away, unfortunately, in 2020. We're very, very sorry to hear of his passing. And I know that you guys have wanted to carry on his legacy. And his name was Dr. Wajid Saeed. So let's start, first of all, by discussing a little bit about him and tell me about what he was like as a person and as a physician.
So well, I mean, he was my younger brother, a few years younger than me. He was extremely nice, very kind person, and very, very smart. He had a wife and he has two kids, whom I see as often as I can. He was in the Department of Neurology as well as in oncology at the University of Alberta in Edmonton. He treated patients and worked on research in clinical processes and improving state of care for brain tumor patients. He had a lot of creative energy, and he worked as long as he could until he was too sick to do so. He was very generous. He made friends very easily. He was just a great guy.
Well, unfortunately, he passed away while working at the Cross Cancer Institute. And you guys have decided now to have an endowment, and this has been set up for a little while to honor him and the research that he did, in essence, helping people with these issues and with cancer. So tell me about the endowment. Why did you guys decide you wanted to have this set up?
We got together with his former colleagues, and we decided that one of the things that he was really passionate about was patient care and research into brain tumors itself. And like every uh, uh, specialty, especially for cancers that are not so common as like breast and colon cancer or prostate cancer. There's always a need for doctors and researchers to have more training and experience dealing with these kinds of cases. While I say not as common, it's still more common than you think. Some fairly famous people in the past few years have had this problem and passed away from it. And many people know people like that, but of course we know people with other illnesses too. But this was the kind of illness he was treating, and that he himself died from that illness. So we felt that it was really important to improve care in Canada.
Now, you have family in Lloydminster. Obviously, he had family here as well, and a lot of people in this area unfortunately have to make use of the Cross Cancer Institute because they have to be treated, and it's a fabulous place to go. So, if anybody wants to, for as far as treatment goes, so if anybody wants to donate to this endowment, how do they go about doing that?
You can go to the Cross Cancer Institute's donation website through the University of Alberta, or there's a website that I created to honor him that has a link that will also take you to the Cancer Institute's and the University of Alberta Faculty of Medicine's website. And then on that website, you choose it gives a list of funds that you can contribute to. You choose other, and you put his name, his first name in there, and it will bring up that link, and then just an amount, and then click donate and ask for your payment details. You can also donate on paper by check. They also have a form that way too.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with me today, and we'll have all that information on the screen so that our viewers can see it and they can make a donation, or just even to learn about Dr. Wajid Saeed if they would like to learn a little bit about his life on the website. As you mentioned, it's all there. It's his life story and some photos and information on one of the recipients as well. So we want to thank you for speaking with us today, and thank you for setting up this endowment to remember him. And I know it's going to help a lot of people, just like he helped a lot of people during his career. So thank you once again for speaking with me. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for the opportunity.
The red carpet has been rolled out in advance of the Academy Awards this weekend. It's a ceremonial moment that elevates all the excitement leading up to Oscar Sunday. Everything on Hollywood Boulevard appears to be well on schedule, with Hollywood's biggest night now just 2 days away. By Sunday, the stairs leading up to the Dolby Theater will be covered in that red carpet as well. Jimmy Kimmel hosts the 96th Academy Awards, and you can watch the show on CTV Sunday night. Abby, I know you're going to be watching it. Do you have any, picks or kind of locks who will win the awards out?
I have a couple. Very hopeful that Lily Gladstone wins Best Actress for her role in Killers of the Flower Moon. I've seen her win at all the other award shows, the Golden Globes. She just won the SAG-AFTRA award for it. So I'm really, really hoping that she takes home again for lead actress. And then I assume, and I won't be shocked if Oppenheimer wins Best Picture. I think that's the biggest. It's going to be between, I think, Barbie and Oppenheimer, and I think Oppenheimer is definitely going to be the front runner. Or I think they're going to walk away with the most awards, including Best Picture.
Yeah, those were definitely two of the, kind of dominant movies this year. So, yeah, it should be a great night on Sunday. That is all the time we have from Primetime Local News. Have a great weekend, everybody.